Hello, SCMS e-learners. Welcome to your first homeroom lesson. I'm Dr. Watson. If you don't know me, I'm the associate principal at the middle school, and I'm helping to lead this e-learner effort. And so I'm going to give you a homeroom lesson to help you be really successful this semester. I have lots of advice in here. I'm going to walk you through your schedule. I'm going to walk you through how to do your daily check-in, which is super important. And so there's lots of stuff in here. Make sure you're paying careful attention. Remember, you can pause this. You can watch it again if you have any questions, and you can always email me for follow-up too. Okay, ready? Here we go. So here's the agenda. As I said, we got our schedule next. We'll do our daily check-in, Google Meets expectations. I got some advice for you, and then we'll conclude there. All right, let's start with schedule. So I'm going to go through an 8th grade schedule first. So when you log into Skyward, it looks kind of like this. When you click on schedule on the left, you have all these classes. You notice that they're all loaded as period 0. So why is that? Well, you don't have to meet at a certain time. So there's no period 1, 2, 3 like you normally saw, which means it might be kind of complicated for you to figure out when classes meet. You're going to get that information in Google Classroom. They will meet when your classroom teachers tell you to, remember? And you have to meet with your English and your math class twice a week, every other class basically once a week. Follow Google Classroom. Ask your teachers if you're not sure. But this tells you which classes you have. Let me explain a few things in here. You'll see homeroom loaded twice. If you're beginning the alphabet, you have me. If you're end of the alphabet, you have Mrs. Jacoby. You'll see it has 3 days. So this is basically Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Those are A's and B days. And then C day are those virtual Wednesdays we're going to start having soon. So don't worry about that. Just know that you're going to have to do your daily check-in through your homeroom Google Classroom. You have to do that every single day we have school. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Mrs. Tedding is on here so she can help me do attendance. Then you have your math class. The student has a foreign language class. 8th graders have 9 weeks of French, A through L at the end of the alphabet. Beginning of the alphabet and the last name. They go first. M through Z go second. And so when you don't have French, you don't have a class there. That class only meets for 9 weeks. You'll see Hawk Time loaded here. That means exact path. So Mr. Collier is this student's person. All 8th graders have Mr. Collier. And so all that means that Mr. Collier is the one who can unlock things for you in Exact Path and answer questions. And he'll tell you more about Exact Path. You're going to do one lesson a day, either English, the language arts, the reading, or the math once a day. You have to do each program once a week. The other 2 days, you do whichever one you want. And you got to talk to Mr. Collier, this person for 8th graders, for any details about that. We're going to do our diagnostics for that tomorrow. So this person, that's a sample one, has a music class. A lot of you guys will have band or orchestra or choir. Those classes are not scheduled. You don't have scheduled meets. Your teachers will reach out to you and let you know when they want you to meet. If it's in small groups, lessons on Google Meets, have you come into the middle school, whatever they decide to do. So listen to them when they tell you what to do. 7th and 8th graders have one exploratory at a time. 6th graders do 2. You click on the exploratories to find out which ones you have and when. They're 6 weeks long. They load kind of funny when you look in here. It's not easy to tell when each one is. So just click on it and you'll see. And it'll tell you if this one is first, this one is second, and facts is third. It'll tell you which one they are. You meet each one for 6 weeks, half hour every week of meeting. The rest of the time you're doing homework. And then notice everybody's got a PE class. PE is a class that meets just for a half hour every other week, but there will be lots of assignments to do between. So pay attention to that. So you all have a PE class too. Seems like a lot, but you guys can do it. So 7th graders, your schedule looks very similar. Everything is basically the same. You'll notice that now it's Spanish instead of French, the same A through L split. So if your last name starts with A through L, you have Spanish first for the first 9 weeks. If it's M through Z, you have for the second 9 weeks. Got to click on it to find out for sure if that's you. And then just look, if you see a core class, that's math, science, social studies, English, or PE, if it says AB, that means that you're meeting twice a week, which is English and math. If it says A or B, that means you're meeting once a week, or for PE, once every other week. Okay, let's look at one of those 6th grade schedules. So 6th graders, all the same stuff. The biggest difference for you is that your exploratories might not start right away. General music is going to start a couple weeks later. And so I've asked all the exploratory teachers and elective teachers to go easy on you for the first week. Let you get used to core classes. We got exact path work to do. But when we get into it, if you have general music to start, it's going to take a few weeks to get ready for that. So just notice that you might end up with a couple of exploratories at the same time later this semester. But that's okay, because that class only meets for a half hour once a week, and there's not a ton of homework. It's just a lot of fun things to learn about. So I went through all 3 schedules, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. If there's anything there that doesn't make sense, anything you want more clarification on, reach out to your school counselor. So A through L, that's Mrs. Penzis. M through Z is Mrs. Jacoby. Send them an email. They'd like to hear from you. And of course, you can talk to me too. I have open hours today, the Tuesday from 9:30 to 10:30. So just log into the Google invite I gave you and talk to me there, or you can email me anytime. All right, daily check-in, very important. You have to check in with your homeroom teacher every day, every day. So that's me for beginning of the alphabet, Miss Jacoby for end of the alphabet. You'll see when you get into Google Classroom, accept all your invites, you'll see it in there. Log into Google Classroom, do your daily check-in every day by 9 o'clock. It will help you plan, it'll keep you focused, and it'll help you reflect on your progress through the as we go through the semester. It's also your attendance. That means it's required by law. You have to do this. So do your attendance, do your daily check-in every day. If you don't do it, then your parents are going to get a call saying you're absent from school. And so if you do it late, that's okay. We'll go back and fix it. But you have to have it done by the next day, or we can't fix it, and your parents got to call the school. All right, so let's show you how to do it. So I have my son logged in here. He's logged in as a 7th grader. He's actually a 3rd grader. But I logged him as a 7th grader, and I have his assignment here. It says, upcoming, due Tuesday, 9 a.m., daily check-in. So he's going to click on it. You can also go in Classroom and do it. Let's do it that way. So we go to Classroom. We go to Daily Check-In. And there it is. Lincoln Watson, 7th grade. So he's going to click on this. He has instructions for what to do here. The Daily Check-In is just a 3-slide assignment. There's 1 slide of explanation and 3 slides of what you got to do. It probably takes 10 minutes a day. Don't make it take too much less than that because I want it to be good. I want you to do a good job on it. So there'll be different questions. Make sure you're reading them. I'll often have some kind of reflection question about how things have been going. How have you done with your classes so far? That's what this one is. Like, what do you hope to get out of this? And then when you log in here, your schedule is going to have the stuff that's already scheduled is going to be in there. As long as I'm always doing this right, it's going to say that your daily check-in is due at 9 o'clock. It's going to have this is a 7th grade, so they have an ELA meet from 9 to 9:30, a science meet from 12:30 to 1, and a math meet from 1 to 1:30. So those things are already in there. I put my office hours in here. Notice it's actually 9:30 to 10:30, so it could have spread all the way through here. And then you have teacher office hours. Your main teachers will meet every day. At the end of the day, they're available. You can just have open office hours, check in on there. So let's say that Lincoln, my 3rd grade son, wants to exercise at 2:30. That's part of his PE requirements, so put that in there. Let's say he wants to do his homework ahead of time because he knows what Mr. O'Connell is going to schedule for him for music or something, so put that in there. Let's say he wants to do a music lesson. Then maybe he's got choir, so put that in there. So whatever you want to do, you drag it over here, and if there isn't anything over here that matches, then just type it in. Go in here and say, read. Let me spell that right. So, and then after school, I want you to write down here what kinds of work you want to do. So let's say, ask mom about math, maybe practice. Did I spell practice wrong? Instrument. Something like that. I know I spelled it wrong. You get the idea. Make sure that you do a good job with the spelling and stuff, but it's kind of small. So then for Lincoln to finish this, what can we do as a staff to help you be successful this semester? You'd have to write in here, just click and say, help me with fractions, or whatever you'd write. So once you're done there, you click out of there, it'll say saved, so there's nothing else you need to do. Okay, so you go up here to the class. Make sure I'm doing this right. And you turn it in. One attachment be submitted. It does it all. It dates it all for you. So you turn it in. It's going to turn into Mrs. Tedding and me since I'm the teacher for this. And he is all done. So that amount of time there, of course, I would have wanted to write a little more, means that he's done his daily check-in. He's marked present for the day, and he's got his plan. I would do that early in the morning if I was you. I would go through there and do that daily check-in sometime by 8 o'clock so that you got the plan for the whole day here and it's all ready to go. That's my advice. So if you need help with that, let me know. But you have to do that at the end of this lesson when you're done watching. You guys should all do your daily check-in. And I want to look for those today and see that, and that's how I'll know that you understand. Okay, almost done. So let's go over Google Meet's expectations. So you're going to do a lot of meetings online this semester. Most of your conversations with teachers and with other students is going to be through Google Meets. It can be exhausting. There's a lot. I've been doing it all summer, and I'm getting used to it. And there's some things I want you guys to be really good about as you're meeting with teachers. So pay attention. And your teachers will probably go over this a little bit with you, but they're going to expect you to know this. All right, here we go. For this slide, I got learning, being respectful, communication, and appearance. So for learning, participate in the lesson with positive attitude and energy. I'll talk about that at the end of our lesson day 2. Your energy matters a lot. Use the chat feature at the bottom of your Google Meets to ask questions and contribute appropriately. That means you can type down there, Mr. Collier, can you help me more with fractions? Or Miss Miller, can you explain the Constitution to me better? Whatever it is that you want to know more about, you put that down there, and then they'll know to look at it later. Or it could be a question that you're just curious about, but it's not part of the lesson. Put it there so they don't forget about it, but it doesn't get the lesson off track. Okay, respectful. In all discussions and postings, be respectful as you would in a face-to-face classroom. So focus on the speaker, no off-topic side conversations, be really, really nice at all times. Make sure you're always a hawk, even if you're an e-learning hawk. All right, communication, use your best spelling and grammar at all times. When you're speaking, speak like a young scholar. When you're writing, spell it well. Use the punctuation that you're good at using. All that stuff makes you come off as more professional. Avoid angry and sarcastic words, even as a joke. Do not repost any portion of any meeting to any social media site. So you're not screenshotting it. You're not sharing it on social media. You're not saying what people are saying in meetings, and social media stuff just causes more problems. So don't do that. Appearance, look and act as if you're in class. So try to look nice. Try to act as if you're a Hawk student in the building, but you're learning from home. Others in class want to see you, so keep your camera turned on. When you turn your camera off, they won't feel like you're there. There are some reasons to turn it off, like maybe it's bogging your computer down and you need it, the bandwidth, so I understand that. You can do that, or maybe there's some stuff going on in the background that's distracting or whatever. But we want your camera on as much as possible, and this is very important to remember. If your camera can be on, it should be. That'll help. I already covered the close. Let's go to the next slide. All right, preparation. Be prepared for all lessons. So when you log in, you should already have your notebook ready. If you have to have the device charged or charging, have that set up. Log on a minute or two early so that you're ready. And then another way to prepare is to make a copy of the chat. If there's like lots of cool notes in there, you can copy that and you can put that in a Word document or a Google Doc, and then you'll have that for next time. Focus. Keep your focus on the lesson. Just like in class, place your cell phone somewhere where it's not in a place where you can see it. So upside down, other side of the table, around somewhere. You're not looking at it during the lesson. It's very important. The teacher will think you're not paying attention. You don't care about the lesson if you have your phone out. Eat and drink. It's probably going to be fine if you eat and drink in class. I don't think your teacher have any different rules about that. I won't for homeroom, but do it responsibly. So if you're doing it and it's distracting others or it's loud for some reason, then you don't do that. So eat and drink responsibly, avoid distracting others, and then come well rested. The class is only a half hour long, and so you shouldn't be yawning a lot. You shouldn't look terribly bored. You should be really erect and ready to learn a lot. Okay, citizenship. Just a couple more things. Be a good member of the learning environment. Be an active part of the lesson. Include your peers. So talk to them in the lesson when it's appropriate. They're not just talking to the teacher. And avoid distracting others. Make sure you mute your audio when there's too much noise going on in your house. And then the last and very important thing I want to say is find your best learning spot. For me, I'm down in my basement right now because my family's upstairs and they're busy doing stuff. So I find a spot downstairs. It's nice and quiet. So find that spot that has few distractions and has a strong connection. Okay, finally, let's do some advice, and then I'll let you guys go do your check-in. So advice, stay organized this semester. It's a long semester, and stuff's going to pile up on you. There'll be a lot to do, and it can feel overwhelming. So you're going to want to have a system of organization. Remember, you can meet with your counselors to come up with ideas for that. Mrs. Penzis and Ms. Jacoby are awesome at organization. You can talk to your parents about it. Whatever organization works for you, make sure you stay very organized with what you have to do when it's due, and Google Classroom can help a lot with that. Stay curious. Learning is fun. There's a lot to learn about. You guys have really cool classes, so stay curious about them. That curiosity is contagious. People are going to want to learn more if you ask interesting questions, and if those questions are genuine, they're just going to help you so much. Stay engaged. Whatever your teachers ask you to do, make sure you're doing it. Make sure you know what it is you have to do. Make sure you're working really hard on it. Those things will help this to be a very valuable experience for you. Stay connected. That means you're talking to your teachers. If you're in some kind of activity, remember you can do sports and activities at the school when we have them. So talk to your coaches, talk to your school counselors, make sure you're talking to your parents about your learning. Those are all things that make the learning more meaningful for you. And then stay positive. So it can be a long semester. It can be draining. I know that looking at a computer screen all the time can be very draining. I felt that way a lot this summer. So, but stay positive about it because it's still awesome. There's still a lot to learn about. And it's cool that we have this opportunity, even though we have all these challenges in our community. Remember, we got this. We're going to do this together. You're going to do an awesome job. Your teachers are outstanding. We had a really cool plan for you. And so just remember, we got this. We're going to do a great, great job. So remember, students, if you have any questions for me, my computer will be on from 9:30 to 10:30. Just log into the Google Meet I invited you to so that you can talk to me. You can call me or email me anytime. I know it's true for your counselors too. If you're asking about learning, your teachers are the best resource for that. So Mr. Collier or Ms. Schmidt or Ms. Miller, whoever you have, those teachers will help you all day long and just do a really good job. And you're going to get so much out of this. Okay, I'll stop talking now. At the conclusion of this lesson, when you're done viewing this, you need to immediately do your daily check-in. Have that done as soon as possible. If it's a little bit late today because you had to do this lesson first, that's okay. But get in as soon as possible. Remember, do it at 9 o'clock every day. I wish you guys nothing